What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Taste Like Music. Jason and Joe here. Album of the Week, which is the series where we review records submitted to us by our patrons over on Patreon, and we review them. Anything that they want us to listen to, we will listen to, as long as not too many people in the community have rated it. That's the rule, so we can't go for any big classic records. So digging a little deeper for these. And today we are going with a record from Swans, who I'm not that familiar with. I don't think I've ever listened to anything in full from them. I've sampled some of their trilogy, some of their more recent records that are very critically acclaimed and beloved. Because they're so acclaimed and beloved, I've kind of sampled little bits and pieces enough to know that they do not seem like a band for me. So I haven't dug any deeper. I was assured that this one is quite different. This is White Light from the Mouth of Infinity from 1991. And yeah, I didn't really know what to expect other than I was very cautiously optimistic.
Well, swans are my enemy, my great enemy. I listened to Cop for 1984, which was back when I guess they were more in the no wave genre. They did have Thurston Moore in the band at one point in 1982. But like you, people were talking about it in the Discord and everyone swore that it's not the same thing. I put Cop behind me, tried to forget all my biases going into this listen. And just this listen, I've just put away the fandom and the RYM scores and all that annoying stuff that I find deeply aggravating. I'm just trying to really concentrate on the music.
Well, I'll go first. So
Okay.
like I said, I went in cautiously optimistic, and I, I don't like it very much. So I haven't listened to any of their other records, but apparently they were on a major label for the previous record. This is them. Apparently that was a debacle. I'm not really sure what happened, but they're coming off of a stint on a major, back to being more independent. And I don't know. I was told this was like, how was it described in the Discord, Joe? It was, people said it was kind of like almost like folky or enchanted or
Yeah, I heard some like gothic,
yeah.
some references maybe to Cocteau Twins
Well, I
in
didn't
some
hear that
ways.
at all. I hear it's definitely kind of gothic, and I get that touches of that, but yeah, I'm not really hearing Cocteau Twins. I'm not hearing dreaminess. I'm not really hearing enchantedness. I don't know. To me, it feels very kind of cold and brittle, and I'm guessing that you're on the same page with me, but these are like my least favorite type of vocals ever. Deep, monotonous vocals, barely melodic. He's kind of singing melodies, but not really. I just was not a fan. And then when Jarbo, the female vocalist, comes in, that's not much of a relief. I don't think she's a good singer, really. It's interesting though. It's like it it's hard for me to really like levy specific critiques against it because unlike a lot of things that I hate, I do understand how people could be into this. It's not as perplexing to me as even their newer, more acclaimed records, which I just don't understand. I kind of see what people could like in this, and I don't think that there's anything horribly wrong with the execution, aside from like not really liking the vocals. I think the drums sound are pretty bad too. Like I didn't know what year this was from when I started listening to it, but I knew immediately based on the reverb and the crack of the snare that it was either late 80s or early 90s. And yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think it's the songs are arranged okay. I don't think it's bad per se. It's just not for me. It's not my vibe at all. I didn't find the songs gripping or very interesting. The two closest tracks that I came to liking were You Know Nothing and Song for the Sun. Those ones had kind of like an Echo and the Bunnymen feel to them to me. And I think with a different singer, I could have enjoyed those tracks. But yeah, mostly I just found it kind of, I don't know, just dull. It's fine, but the vocals are just not good.
Vocals, yeah, they're a tough hurdle to get over. The album starts with a baby crying, which is automatically negative half a star, just without a doubt. I hate the cover. I hate that stupid bunny. I hate the sad rabbit standing in the bloody pool shaped like a heart. That is my least favorite, like, sad boy aesthetic you can possibly have. And I mean, immediately it's off to a bad start. And they're like, I don't know if it's their aesthetic or their overall outlook, but it's just such an anathema to like my entire philosophy on life. And everything like that they do just makes me feel like they're just horrible, unbelievable tryhards. They seem pretentious in a way that most people wouldn't think is pretentious, but like clearly is incredibly pretentious. Like people think prog is pretentious. Like this is pretentious. This is just going out of their way to be just like I don't know. It's like that gothic cold with the talk singing and like the downcast lyrics and it's just everything about it. Um, and obviously the talk singing is the biggest holdup for me, the biggest hurdle. That being said, I don't hate this talk singing as much as, some of the other talk singing I've heard. I like the vocals more than Joy Division, so I'll say that. Um, but it's almost like at times like a parody, like it's like the Crash Test Dummies or something. Like it's just it doesn't sound quite right with what's going on. I don't have a problem with the drums. I know like it's full of reverb. I'm fine with that. I think the guitar sound is pretty good. I like the maximalist, wall of sound with the strings and the bells and everything that's going on. I think it's a good sound. And that's kind of where I get like maybe a bit of that Cocteau Twins, like this that big, like maximalist sound, which I like. Like I'd much rather have that than some like minimalistic, slow plodding, whatever with this talk singing. If you're gonna do the talk singing, give me like a full backtrack with just walls of sound and noise. That's cool. Um, the synth sounds are a little cheesy, like the string and the orchestration done on synths. I get like a video game kind of vibe from it sometimes, like a Final Fantasy. Like, give me some real strings or something if you're gonna do this. Um, it's kind of like to me like the reverse Cocteau Twins. It's like Hell or Reno instead of Heaven in Las Vegas. Get it? But I get some of that like spirit to it. Song wise, everything's really long and too long, but I didn't mind a lot of the songs themselves. Power and Sacrifice is just wall to wall sound, gothic. It's like a cathedral religious fervor type. The repetition I didn't mind too much. I think it builds the drama. I just think there's too much of that. Like it's 70 minutes and all of the songs kind of have the same feel to them. There's some builds, like they'll go from like a twinkling kind of intro on a song like You Know Nothing into a big radiance, just walls of sound, again, walls of sound and instruments and strings and synths and stuff. And I think they sound pretty good. I'm with you on Jarbo. I don't think she adds anything to the proceedings. I think her vocals, they're so exaggerated. It seems like farcical to me a little bit. Like she's not like a Kate Bush. She's like someone on Saturday Night Live or Monty Python, like trying to be a Kate Bush like singer. Like it's just too much. I like her better. I think it's the first track, Better Than You, where she does some backing vocals, kind of blends in a little bit better, adds some like little beauty to Gira's talk singing. But when she's like the basis of it, it doesn't quite work for me. But some of these songs are interesting. Like Will We Survive? Like that opening would not be out of place on Seventh Son of a Seventh Son by Iron Maiden. Like it's got like those synths, but it's got kind of like a metally prog sound to it, which I didn't mind. Wish more of the builds went places. A lot of builds that just kind of stop, like or like shift into something minimalistic. And over 70 minutes, like that can get grating. Like it's good a couple times, but if you just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, like the power and it doesn't work if everything sounds exactly the same. But I definitely liked it more than I thought I would because it's not plotting, it's not slow and kind of like ugh, like when you get some of this talk singing bands and like later bands probably like Swans and bands previous like Sonic Youth and just bands that have like no tempo and bring in that talk singing and everything's plotting and boring. Like this at least has that energy to it that keeps up for most of the album. I think the playing is good, like there's some really nice piano and there's some really interesting elements in there. I just wish more of these songs did something. Um, so overall, Michael Gear's vocals are always going to be a stumbling block, but it didn't kill it for me. I just thought like the songs themselves weren't interesting enough. There wasn't enough variety, little too much repetition. I think that like there's like a couple major scales. I think Song for the Sun might be one of them, and like Why Are We Alive might be another one where there's like a little brightness to it, and like you could use a little bit more of that here. So I think there's, if I heard this, I'd be like, okay, there's some promise here. I just don't like everything that they're doing, and I think it's too samey. It's too long. Use Jarbo better. Get some real strings in there, and you could have a decent album. But I'm probably, God, it's tough on a star ranking. I might be at 3 stars because as much as I didn't love it, I really never found myself hating it and being like, oh God, I wish, I was dead. I wish I wasn't listening to this anymore. I wish I would lose hearing over listening to this. And it definitely exceeded my expectations in a rather large way. But this is a pretty, straightforward record for me. So I'll go a light three, very light three, like a 6 out of 10, 6.1 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it is straightforward, and that is that's maybe like almost a strike against it that this is them being straightforward and it's still like the songs aren't really that good. I don't know. I wasn't wanting to die either. I wasn't like, oh, make this end. This is so bad. But at the same time, I was just like, I don't really like this or think that it's all that great.
I mean,
Um,
I definitely don't think it's a great album, and I think the Swans fans are loonies, but I can kind of see, how you wouldn't hate this and how you might be into it. I feel like this sound could be done so much better.
oh, yeah, for sure. I think they wanted a warm, I think they were going for like a warmer, dreamier sound. And that's kind of like they're building up this wall of sound. But to me, that just the way it's produced and the sound of it and that snare is just like overwhelming everything and kind of killing the warmth for me. It's just like this cracking high end, and it just, man, it really hurts the vibe that I think they were going for. I think they wanted something a little more welcoming. I don't know. I think that, yeah, poor execution. I don't like the vocals, and I think the songs are okay at best. So, yeah, I'm at 2. I just, I don't think it's a very good record. All right. Well, let us know what you think of this record. Leave your comments in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, check the video description for links to our Instagram and our Patreon, and check us out over there if you're interested. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.